Hey everybody, and welcome to Mimir's Well. I wanted to do a video today for a couple different reasons. First of all, I wanted to say thank you. I recently hit 1,000 subscribers, which for me is a definite milestone, so thank you very much to all you subscribers. I really appreciate it. I also wanted to tell a story today. Now, I love to tell stories, and the story that I have is a story that's worth telling, and it's a story that's definitely worth listening to. Now, I find that almost everybody has heard of the god Odin, and a lot of people have heard that Odin rides around on the greatest of all horses, the eight-legged horse Sleipnir. But one thing I've noticed is that almost nobody has heard the origin story of Sleipnir, and that's a real shame because it's one of the most entertaining and, in my opinion, best stories from the Eddas. It involves Thor. It involves giants, and it involves Loki getting pregnant by a horse. That's right, Loki getting pregnant by a horse. So sit back, relax, grab a horn of mead, grab a pipe, smoke a bowl, and enjoy the story. You do not know the details of Sleipnir and are not acquainted with the circumstances of its origin, but you will find this worth listening to. It was right at the beginning of the gods' settlement, when the gods had established Midgard and built Valhall. There came there a certain builder, and he offered to build them a fortification in 3 seasons, so good that it would be reliable and secure against mountain giants and frost giants, even though they should come in over Midgard. And he stipulated as his payment that he should get Freya as his wife, and he wished to have the sun and the moon. Then the Aesir went into discussion and held a conference, and this bargain was made with the builder that he should get what he demanded if he managed to build the fortification in 1 winter. But on the first day of summer, if there was anything unfinished in the fortification, then he should forfeit his payment. He was to receive from no man help with the work. And when they told him these terms, then he asked that they should permit him to have help of his stallion called Svartalfari. And it was Loki that was responsible for this being granted him. He set to work the first day of winter to build the fortification, and at night he hauled up stone with the stallion. And the Aesir thought it a great marvel what enormous rocks the stallion hauled, and the stallion performed twice the deed of strength that the builder did. But at their agreement there had been mighty witnesses invoked and many oaths, for the giants did not think it safe to be among the Aesir without a guarantee of safety if Thor were to return home. But at the time, he was gone away into the eastern parts to thrash trolls. And as winter passed, the building of the fortification advanced rapidly, and it was so high and strong that it could not be stormed. And when summer was 3 days away, then he had almost got round to the entrance of the fortification. Then the gods took their places on their judgment seats and tried to think of what to do, and asked each other who had been responsible for the decision to marry Freya into giant land and to spoil the sky and the heaven by taking away sun and moon and giving them to giants. And there was agreement among them all that he must have been responsible for this decision. Who was responsible for most evil? Loki Laufeyarson, and declared that he would deserve an evil death if he did not find a scheme whereby the builder would forfeit his payment, and they offered to attack Loki. And he, being afraid, swore oaths that he would manage things so the builder would forfeit his payment whatever it cost him to do it. And the same evening when the builder drove out for stone with his stallion Svartalfari, there ran out of a certain wood a mare, up to the stallion and neighed at it. And when the stallion realized what kind of horse it was, it went frantic and tore apart the tackle and ran toward the mare, and she away to the wood, and the builder after them both, trying to catch the stallion. And these horses ran around all night, and the building work was held up for that night. The next day, not as much building was done as had been the case previously. And when the builder realized that the work was not going to be completed, then the builder got into a giant rage. But when the Aesir saw for certain that it was a mountain giant they had hired there, then the oaths were disregarded, and they called upon Thor. And he came in a trice, and the next thing was that Mjolnir was raised aloft. Then he paid the builder's wages, and it wasn't the sun and the moon. Instead, he stopped him from living in Giant Land and struck the first blow, so that his skull was shattered into fragments, and sent him down beneath Niflhel. But Loki had had such dealings with Svartalfari that somewhat later he gave birth to a foal. It was gray and had 8 legs, and this is the best horse among gods and men. You know, old Uncle Boar tried to tell us you legalize Aesir, Vanir, Aesir, giant marriage, one thing leads to the other, and people are screwing horses. Jeez.